true men, when they see a woman that they want, they lock in. They lock in, right? Because true masculine men are conquerors, right? And you could ask any real man, and if men are watching, you can confirm, but it's ultimate truth of the divine masculine energy, because this is the masculine energy. When a man sees a woman that he knows, this is her, this is the mother of my children, and even if you don't want to have children, you're not going to have, it's like, right, I'm just saying, this is the one that I'm going to stand and walk her and see her walk down the aisle, or the mother of my children, or the one that I'm going to hold her hand on my deathbed. Depends what you want from life. Not everyone wants children in marriage, you know what I mean? They see us and they know. Sometimes they lack maturity at the moment, so they still don't know how to handle it, and sometimes there's certain things in life that have to happen, but they look at us and they know. And when they are ready in their masculine energy, they lock it in. So if a man is with you for years in a relationship and is telling you that maybe we're not ready for marriage, maybe we're not ready for babies, for pets, for living in together, it's because it's not you. And I'm not saying this to hurt you in a sense that it's not you, it's your fault, because it's not your fault. It just means that you're not each other's person. Because this is the core, again, this is the core of divine feminine, divine masculine energy. We are the chaos, the creation, the inspiration, the connection to the beyond, right? If you're confused, you can read all about it on my website in Divine Love section, the true divine masculine, true divine feminine, the energetically what it means even within us, the feminine and the masculine, right? We're fire, we're inspiration, we're creation, and men is that container. Is what grabs that passion, that idea, that emotion, that chaos, and grounds it into existence. So energetically, if you think about it, a true woman, again, we live in a patriarchal society that is turning the tables and is trying to force us all in a distorted masculine energy, because this is how they control us and this is how the system works, right? It's a complicated thing, don't get me going. But in our true divinity, in our true essence, women are those that connect to nature, that connect to God, are like these fairies, like constantly with something, with passion, like with chaos in our minds. And the man is the one that grabs it and grounds it. You're my woman now. I'm going to lock it in. True men chase, pursue, they're dedicated, they're consistent, because we know that we are that fairy that can, right? And these days it's other way around, because most men are in their feminine energy. They fear commitment. They was completely against masculine energy. And most women, they lead with their masculine because this is what misogyny told us to do, right? But if that happened with your ex-partner, it's because he felt on some level that this other woman was it. So I know it's pain. Feel that pain. Feel that grief. Grieve that relationship. You already have the maturity not to jump into something else. Everything that I've explained in part 1. It's going to be challenging to accept that someone that you loved and that you wanted to spend your future with chose another woman, and suddenly in nothing has given to her everything that you always wanted from this person and you could never get. But it only means that this wasn't your person. So you have to properly close this. You have to and I'm going to say one more thing because it's coming to my mind with this confession. Remember what we said, that maybe you still have friends in common and friends are coming to you and they're saying that they're planning this marriage. Whoever does this, I'm going to say this only once because I've seen this play out in real life, right? And I know my thing, and I'm going to give you this advice take it as if it was an older sister, not a psychic medium. Whoever does this is not a true friend. Because if I have my best friend who I love her, I adore her, I want her to be happy, I want her to have everything. Her partner leaves her to another woman, and we're all friends. So I, for example, still follow, although that's only a sign in itself, right? Unfollow immediately. That that hurt my friend, right? No matter who he is, no matter if it was meant to be, I'm a friend. Sometimes friends are entitled to have more aggression and more spark towards that ex. Okay, you should lead with like forgiveness and letting go, right? But the friend can be like, you fucker, right? So if I'm a true friend, I don't want to know anything about him. I'm going to unfollow him. I'm not going to be his friend. And if I'm going to see him on the street, I'm going to give him the look, right? Because it's my job as the best friend. But no good friend. If I find out that this person is now planning his honeymoon, getting a pet with his new partner, right? And maybe I even saw them. And maybe I even feel that, shit, this is true love. This makes more sense than it ever did to him and my friend. True friend would never say anything to you. Never. Why on earth would you want to cause this pain in your friend? If your friend talks to you, you can give some, harsh love sometimes, and you can say, listen, I think this wasn't your person. I know it's hurtful, but he's with someone else. Just let it go. Just let it go. Stop spying. Stop asking. Stop comparing yourself to this woman. Just let it go. Move on. Forget about it. Let's all erase them from our lives, from our right. It's gone. If it's karmic, it's gone. But bringing you information about how they're living their life and what they're doing, this is not true friendship. This is gossiping. This is low vibrational energy. This is distorted feminine energy. It's disgusting. Think about it, because if you have those friends that keep bringing you this information that is completely unnecessary. All right, you guys, what do we want to do? What do I want to do with you, my sweet little angels? I want to pull some oracle cards for you, because you're going to need healing. You're going to need to close this. You're going to need to let go. So we're going to do some guidance. Let's start with these, some messages of positive messages, and then we're going to do some tarot. What is it that they're wanting you to focus on in this difficult time of healing? I stand with what I said in the beginning. I heard it loudly from your guides. It's the best thing that ever happened to you. This wasn't your person. You wouldn't be happy with this person. If you were ever force this person to get married and have a family, you would never have this true, divine, beautiful union, happy ever after. It would be settling. It would be one of those relationships that just, it is, but it ain't the real deal. And you will know this one day. And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with whether this person is a good person, because oftentimes people go into this nonsense saying, oh, leave him, forget about him, you deserve better. It's not about deserving better. Right? Your true partner, I'm just giving it as an example, right? Your true partner in the eyes of society may not be better. Maybe someone who's going to be less attractive, maybe someone who's going to be less successful in their job, and all the things that stupid society tells us that it's actually physical success. But they're going to be your person. So it's not about better. We're human beings. We cannot compare ourselves better and worse than this person who is garbage and trash, and now it's going to be, it's so painful. It shows lack of maturity when people do that. Human being is a human being. So let's just say, thank you, universe, for taking it away, because although it's painful now, I believe, and you believe that. We've said this from the very beginning. You believe that it was part of your destiny, karma clearance. It wasn't your person. So thank you for taking him away. And now show me the way so I can heal, I can do better, I can become better, and I can be aligned with the one that is meant for me. Because it's not about that, one day it's, and people always do that. They hope to find someone who is like richer or hotter, like this embodiment of like all the qualities of the feminine and masculine. It's like Angelina Jolie and Jason Momoa, and then post some photos. So look what I found, and look my life, and thank God. It's not about it, you guys. It's so petty. It's so shallow. It's so low vibrational. All we want in life is that one person who is our person. It doesn't matter how they look, who they are, how much money they make. It's our person. We will recognize them with our eyes closed through vibration. Our person. And true love doesn't need to be on display. And I always say this, you guys, this is why I always know when something is the real deal, because people who meet their true soul connection, they are so sinking into that love in the beginning that they have no time to even tell their friends that they're dating or post on social media. And obviously when you're in a relationship and you do something with your life, you know, you travel, you go out, sometimes you post, and if your partner is present in your life every day, obviously he or she, they're going to be there, right? But those people that like they break up and in 3 months or like 2 months they meet someone new, right? And then suddenly it's all over social media. Oh my God, I love you so much, like we're together, we're so happy. It's a display. It has nothing to do with what they feel for them. It's showing off that, look, I picked myself up from that breakup. I now have someone new. That person is fun. That person is attractive, right? It's a display. It has nothing to do with true love and wanting to. It's a lie that they say to themselves, because if you're truly in love, it's like you want to sink into that bubble with that person for the first few months, and you don't even freaking think about opening Instagram, because what the F for? We're here with each other. Do you know what I mean? And it comes a bit later. That you maybe want to share a little bit of that happiness, or just simply your life with others. All right, just a side note. We have fluid. May you shift and transform. May you shift and transform. You are in period of transformation. Sometimes universe takes away something that is holding us back from our greatness. Take it as that. Forgive. May you let it be. You guys, this is such a common thing, and I talk about this so often, and I see this in people, especially, unfortunately, in women, but in men as well, that they don't understand that you have to, if you don't manage to get yourself to a point when you neutralize all the emotion towards your ex, you forgive and you understand, right? You're gonna get nowhere in life. Forgiveness is so important. And it's not because of it's you know, this cliche, it's forgiveness is for us, it's not for others. Yes, it's true, but I'm gonna explain this to you exactly why. First of all, until we grant forgiveness is, it's to simplify this for you. The emotion of forgiveness, it's what cuts the cords. It's what cuts the cords. As long as you don't forgive, you will always be energetically connected to this person, right? And the other thing is that the only way to close a karmic contract that was linking you with someone specifically is through forgiveness. Because if the moment we die, we haven't granted that forgiveness, we're going to have to meet this person in the next lifetime. Because the core of your karmic contract with someone is to understand that me as a soul, I knew this would happen. I chose this for myself. I might not understand right now as a human being the reason why, but my soul knew that this would benefit my growth, that this was a puzzle piece on the chessboard of my life. It needed to happen. Maybe because I had karmic debt to pay with this person, maybe because I had something to learn, maybe because it had to happen for both of us. We signed that contract before incarnating in these human bodies, right? So it had to happen. So when you understand that your soul chose this and it had to happen, and all the things that happened between the two of you were meant to be to show you something so you can understand and learn, how could you resent someone? You know that you yourself orchestrated that, right? And I will tell you one more thing about resentment towards another person. When we have something negative towards our partner, hate, resentment, right? 100%, you guys. I don't care what anyone says. I would say this to you, allow it to sink in so you understand. 100% of cases, it is a projection of how we feel towards ourselves. Because if I hate my ex-partner, it is not really that I hate this person, but it is that I hate and cannot forgive the past version of me that chose this partner, that stayed with this partner, and that allowed this partner to hurt me. Because we choose a partner. No one forces us into a relationship. We are the ones that ignore red flags. We are the one that push instead of, despite the fact that things are not happening. How many women, they are in this situation as you are right now, right? And they resent the fact, truly, subconsciously, they resent the fact that they were pushing and asking. It's humiliating. True divine feminine asks for nothing. This is what I told you in the beginning. True man, he sees you, he locks in. You never ask for anything. You know your boundaries, you know what you need, you don't accept anything below these boundaries, but you never chase, you never ask. Right? So you had to humiliate yourself and chase and ask and stand all whatever is it that you feel that he was doing to you. When you resent your ex-partner, is because you resent yourself. Something within you. There's no other option, there's no other way. And when we're truly mature, when we grow, when we're spiritual, when we understand destiny, soul contracts, learnings, life's lessons, we just naturally let go. And when I accept someone on sessions and you're in that kind of situation, let's say you come to me on session, there's someone that you need to forgive and you cannot find this forgiveness in your heart, I'm not going to be teaching you forgiveness. We're going to be learning the lessons, we're going to be letting go, we're going to be getting to know you better, and I assure you forgiveness is going to be a natural product of that process. Natural. Alive, may you delight in vitality. This is your time to enjoy life, you guys, right? And I have to be very careful here, because I do not mean what most people mean. Most people, when they break up, they get these stupid advices when people say, now you're free, you can like sleep with whoever you want and date. No. Okay, no. True person, mature person in their divinity doesn't do that. But I'm sure there are many things that you don't have to. Being on our own, you guys, truly, it's easier because we don't have to align with the other person. We don't have to, we don't have to split our time in between what we want to do and what they want to do, right? Especially if it's a karmic connection, because with our true higher soulmates, twin souls, we're like one vibration, so we usually want the same things all the time. But there's always some sort of a compromise, there's always some sort of a, right now it's your house is your house, it's your freedom, it's your space, it's your closet space, it's doing with your free time, maybe traveling. I don't know why I just heard that maybe this person was a little bit cheap and they didn't, maybe it's just a detail for some of you, that they didn't want to spend much money on like travel and on things so you can do certain things. Or maybe I just heard like maybe partying, maybe they were very controlling and possessive, they didn't like you to wear certain clothes, and maybe just like random details for some of you. Joy, may you pursue what lights you up. This is the time that you were given opportunity to get to know yourself better. Who I really am. What do I really want in life? Who will really be a better match for me? I'm going to become that person. And you guys know that I always say that to those of you who are in search for a soulmate, imagine your perfect partner. Imagine. And now your job for the next months, years, however many, moons it will take, is to become the person, the woman, the man that will be worthy of that partner. That will be a match to that partner. Because we oftentimes feel this entitlement, we want, right? But what do you got to offer? Soothe it. May you settle gently, even if the wave breaks above. This is your key lesson in this situation. To learn, but you, on some level, you have this collective, because I felt this in your energy. We were talking about this from the beginning. Like deep down, you know that this had to happen. Deep down, it's like there's maturity of the ego that has to happen here, but your soul knows. Your soul understands on a deeper level that maybe you're not comprehending, that this is for you to accept that life doesn't get easier, but when we grow, if we grow, we just get better, and things always going to be happening. There's always going to be pain and grievance and low self-esteem and someone who will make us feel insecure, and we'll just have to ease our way through it. I don't want to say deliberately power through it, because it's about easing our way through it. The waves are always, it's about riding the wave, right? Okay, let's do you a little bit of guidance. A little bit of guidance. I was looking at I don't know why it came to my mind, Thailand. Maybe you always wanted to go to Thailand. It's a place that you wanted to visit. If it was, that's your sign. It's your sign. What's the guidance for this collective? What they need to focus on? Yes. Yes, don't we know it? Don't we know it? Yes. What else? What else? I love when Spirit agrees with me. Yes. One more for your first row. Okay. All right. All right. So your first card is Hermit. Hermit, this is what you need to do. There's a reason I was rambling so much to you, to this collective, about why it's so important to go your own way, not to start seeing anyone from the moment you really break up with someone, at least 1 year, because you have to close, you have to properly close, you have to feel the pain, you have to allow yourself. So Hermit has many levels, the Hermit option. Hermit can be energetic, right? So we just protect our energy, we focus on ourselves. Hermit is about confirmation, looking inwards, right? Sometimes in that longer Hermit period, you're going to have like this turbo Hermit, right? You're going to want to stay home. You know, you will not want to go out. You will want to cry. You will want to suffer. Maybe look at photos of this person. Maybe burn them if you need that kind of a release. Do whatever you need. This is your time to feel that pain, to cry, to maybe call your best friend, the real friend, the good friend, not the one that tells you stuff about your ex, but the real good friend. Confirmation. Maybe you have to pull a couple of good oracle cards for yourself. So light up a candle, burn those photos, laugh, have some wine. You need that bubble of security, right? Many people go the wrong direction when they break up. They start to date, they start to party, they start to go out a lot, do crazy new stuff. It's not helping. Hermit time is about shrinking your world for a moment. So if you feel like you want to do something new, get a new hair look, for example. We women, we subconsciously always know that hair carry our energy, so we oftentimes want to cut it or change it after a breakup. So do that. Maybe you want to go on a trip with a friend. Maybe you want to sign up for a new class for something like a yoga or like some sort of a dancing, but make sure you don't fall into these distractions. Spend a lot of time in that bubble. Cry, scream, think about. This is how we let go. This is how we release. Not through denial. Not through denial. You stupid. But through, I loved you. I loved you. Why did you do this to me? Cry. Pray to your guides for guidance. Go inwards. Go inwards. This is what you need to get to know yourself better. And the answers will come. The answers will come. You're magician. You're a beautiful soul. You really have the capacity within you to magnetize in future all you want in life. This was a big lesson for you. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. I oftentimes teach you guys that every person in life has a moment. It usually happens somewhere in between late 20s, for some maybe a little bit earlier, but rarely. Usually it's like late 20s till late 30s, early 40s. This moment when something happens, that it's our moment of switch from physical karma, so things that had to happen, to spiritual karma, to long story short, to where we have to start learning. I have a video, you can go to my website, because I do spiritual physical karma reading, and in the description of that reading there's a link to a video where I really explain in depth what it means. I feel this is your moment. And not everyone switches. Many people stay on a level of physical karma. And if they stay on that level, they don't learn lessons, they only become bitter, they don't grow in life. Life doesn't get easier to them. But you have the capacity, and for most people it's subconscious. Not everyone is, if you ask some people, they may know it was this moment. It's usually something happens, like whether you lose a parent or a grandparent, or you have a child, or your partner leaves you, or you lose a job, or you lose everything, or sometimes some sort of a disease. It's that moment when you start thinking, what do I do? What do I do with my life? What do I do with my life? If you're spiritual, if you're awake and aware, you're going to know that this is that moment of switch, but most people aren't. So they will just know that it's that moment that's sort of a change how I look at life. If you grab onto that moment, if you jump through that window, if you don't, you're going to stay on a level of physical karma, but you have the capacity to really magnetize your highest, most abundant timeline, happiness. But you just, right now, you need that hermit. You need to release the pain. It's really about dissolving those cords. And we have 5 of Wands, and you had in your first energy, remember, you have 5 of Wands, and it's funny because I grabbed 2 decks that have a very similar representation of the 5 of Wands. It's this focusing really on the internal conflict. But make sure, there's a reason, I'm hearing this clearly, and there's a reason I've said to you guys, remember, that when you resent your partner, it's because you resent your old self. And this is something that most people don't know how to conquer, and this is why they don't truly grow. Because in our life, Wheel of Fortune, destiny was destined. In our life, we are never, from the beginning to the end, we're never the same person. We go through constant deaths and rebirths, constant transformations, right? And when we have those lessons in life that we truly learn, there's a moment that we have to fully let go of the past version of ourselves in order to allow that new butterfly to get out of the cocoon, right? It's that transformation. But if we resent the past version of ourselves, subconsciously, we cannot forgive ourselves that we feel like we've wasted time, we've wasted energy, that we've allowed someone to hurt us. We don't see the lesson in it. We don't understand the lesson. We're energetically, because remember, everything that was, will be, and is exists in a quantum field, right? So it's not really the past version of you. It's not a past, that person, that energy, that it still exists. So if you don't fully forgive your past self, look at the past self and say, you made some mistakes, but we had to make those mistakes to learn the lessons. And thanks to you, I am today the person that I am. I'm giving you love. It's this true passing the torch, but then letting go. If you don't forgive your past self, if you turn your back from your past self, and most people don't know that because they project those emotions, that lack of forgiveness, onto their exes, their parents, their family, right? This is why you know. If you haven't forgiven someone, if you still carry resentment within you on any level towards someone, it's because you're energetically not just tied to them, but to the past version of you that allowed those situations to happen, right? You're energetically tied to your inner child. You're energetically tied to you from 5 years ago that allowed this relationship, right? You're energetically tied. And you will never be allowed to grow and move your consciousness to a higher level, to a next transformation, because you will energetically be tied to that past version of self. This is why we have to face her, him. You can do this for visualizations, for shamanic journey, you can do it yourself, you can do it with assistance of a healer, however you want to do that, or whatever you feel guided to do. But to face that past version of self, and I forgive you. I know that it had to happen. I understand. I know that you do. This is why, if you know now what you know, obviously you didn't know that before. So how can you resent yourself for not knowing? Forgive her. Look at her and say, you wanted love. You were a little codependent. You were pushing a little bit. You weren't in your feminine energy. But now I know. Now let's learn this. Thank you. Thank you for making those mistakes that guided me towards the lessons. Do you know what I mean? Hermit. Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. Temperance, very beautiful. Soothing, healing, that's on top of that Ten of Swords. Justice again. Let me think, because there's something in here. Let's see what Spirit has to say, because there's something in here. Queen of Wands. I was actually seeing Queen of Wands. I thought this would be your first card. Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is But this is what I'm hearing. You have some powerful major arcanas, right? This is your guidance. This is what you need to focus on, right? This is what we were asking. So you have some powerful major arcanas. You have the Hermit, which is the inner work, looking inwards, bubbling up to really do some self-work. The Magician, it's the empowerment, it's the magnet